All right, time to put the new baffle on this 68 Pro Reverb, but we've got a whole bunch of loose Tolex here. So I'm gonna glue that down first. You can buy Tolex glues and you can try contact cement and a whole bunch of stuff. I found that works really well for spot repairs is Titebond 2. If you're doing you can actually use this stuff for the entire chassis with Tolex, but if you do that, it's better to thin it down a little bit with some water. But for a repair like this, just give myself a nice little squeeze. Try to work it in there. And get in there with a dry brush. Try to move it around. I want it to be on the wood. And I want it to be on the Tolex. So sometimes I gotta reapply. Sometimes one squeeze will do both. I want to work it down into any little cracks. So I need a little bit more. It's really dry and thirsty, which is good. It means it will take this glue really well. Get some down there in that front edge. Kind of spread this out and thin it out. I'm not worried about excess at this point. I'll tell you why in just a minute. Just want to make sure that every surface that will mate with itself, it's got a good slathering of this stuff, but not any big goopy globs. There's a real technical term there, big goopy globs. So I've got some here, and I've got some here. And I'm going to pause for a moment and let that stuff just be exposed to the air while I wash that glue out of that brush. All right, it's been about 4 minutes. It doesn't take a lot. Now I just want to push all this in place with my fingers at first and get any squeeze out that I can get to squeeze out. And the Tolex has got a little bit of a stretch to it at this point. So I can get really up against that convex curve on the front edge. Now here, any little bits of squeeze out will wipe right out. In this case, with a regular paper towel, if I had more than this, I might use a damp paper towel because we don't want any visible glue. But this lets me know that it's right up as tight as it can be. It's going to hold. Now to reinforce that now, put some tape on it, painter's tape. I'm going to have to do some of this off camera just because I'm in the middle of it right now and I can't pause to move the tripod. So this may not be the best angle at the beginning, but I want to start from where I know the Tolex is dry and bound on the outside of the chassis. Cabinet rather, outside the cabinet. I want to bring that in tight against itself. Just to hold that down. And I'm going to repeat the process all down the line. I'm not going to show the entire application on this video because I need to focus on it and move the camera out of the way. But this blue painter's tape doesn't have a ton of strength, but if I use enough to go all the way down the line, it cumulatively will be very strong and hold this in place. That's all taped up, and I'm just going to let it sit like this. 30 minutes would probably suffice. I'm going to give it an hour, and so next time you see this, we'll be taking this tape off, and we'll see how it held. Okay, time to take off the tape. I like to start from the side where the Tolex was never loose and kind of pull at an angle. That way I'm much less likely to disturb any glue that hasn't quite set as much as I might hope for. And this is just a slow process. At the end of it, though, that Tolex is snug as the day it left the factory. It's not going anywhere. Everything's great with that. There's one other spot on the cab, the other front, where I need to do about a 3-inch area of that. I just saw it. And I might as well do some stuff on the rear as well that I'm just noticing. This cleat that I thought I might have to replace, the actual original hole is here. I'm just going to clamp this and glue this so it's not going to further split. It'll be more than sufficient. To the owner of this amp, I know we spoke the other day, and I'd hoped to have your amp done today. A different amp went longer than I expected. It's just the way this works, and now I'm doing this at the speed of glue drying. So I'm going to do a couple of things at once this next go round, but this is the process which will make this amp cosmetically fantastic, and these things are almost as important to the sense of ownership as the way it sounds and all the electronics work inside. So I think it's worth the time to get this stuff right, so because otherwise it just continue to pull off, and then you have big flapping bits of Tolex on your cab. All right, all the Tolex is glued up, cleat repaired, the new baffle with the aged grill cloth in place. Time to transfer the old logo from the old baffle to the new, using a T-square, speed square, and another ruler and some tape. I was able to move everything. I doubt these were ever exactly precisely installed from the factory. I've seen a lot of variation. This is pretty much within a millimeter where the old one is. Now I could go in there with these new screws and hope that I don't strip anything out, but I much prefer to drill a little pilot hole first. I gotta check my alignment again. I know that one's good. I'll recheck this one before I drill that hole. And again, I prefer hand tools with tiny holes like this into wood, even though we're going into good 3/4 inch plywood this time rather than back into the particle board of the original. Get that just almost tight. Recheck my distances here. Perfect. So I'll do this one next. All right, that is solid. Shazam! Okay, so all the cleats are tight, the new baffle's tight, all the Tolex has been glued back down, structurally sound, looks good, the logo transferred, time to install the new speakers, and then we'll see what it all sounds like. But those will be in another video.